Yog the Barbarian is often regarded as a living contradiction, as he is half human and half genie. His father was a human barbarian and his mother a genie, but it was his paternal warrior instincts that outgrew his magical aptitude, and he became a freelance hero in Krelod, eventually going on to thwart the schemes of the necromancer Sandro. Born as the son of a genie enchantress and a barbarian chieftain, Yog was enrolled in the Kalarnen Academy of Magic at a young age. While the Bracadan wizards who ran the school on the Krelodian border made every effort to teach him discipline and magic, Yog found academic life to be excruciatingly boring and was often found reading texts on war rather than those on magic. Sometime during his lengthy tuition, Yog fell in love with another student, Widomina, a bookish young human alchemist. However, later events shattered Yog's perception of magic for good. Widomina spent her time scouring the libraries for tomes of arcane lore. At some point, she discovered a cursed manuscript and studied it against the advice of her teachers. Its evil glyphs transformed her into a necromancer, and she was cast out of Bracada for disobeying the high laws of magic. Heartbroken by that incident, Yog vowed never to study magic again, and received an invitation from Duke Winston Boragos of Krelod to join his army, who was desperately seeking foreign recruits. Yog packed up and left Kalarnen, sending one of his sparring partners south to find a town from which he could fight his way to Krelod. Finding the village of Padon, Yog mounted a defense against Onya, a Kalarner teacher determined to prevent him from leaving Bracada. After Onya's defeat, Yog crossed into Krelod, fighting past a heavily guarded border garrison. Pushing onward towards Boragos, he captured the town of Groa and headed for the capital of Ulgak. However, as he progressed, Boragos' forces turned against Yog and began attacking him. Furious, the half-genie finally reached the capital, where Winston Boragos explained that the attacks had simply been a test to determine Yog's strength and determination. Getting to Krelod wasn't the end of Boragos' trials, however. To prove his readiness to part with Bracada, Yog was given the mighty Angelic Alliance, a sword of immense power. Yog was instructed to distribute its components among a number of seers throughout Tatalia, Erathia, and Bracada. Seeking out a loner named Alendora in the marshlands of Tatalia, Yog fought his way through local armies to deliver the Armor of Wonder and the Sandals of the Saint. Afterwards, he traveled east to Erathia, with the remaining 4 parts of the Alliance sword, and, after defeating some nearby knights, presented the seers Falor and Tervern with the Celestial Necklace of Bliss and the Lion's Shield of Courage. His last test looming, Yog then traveled south to Bracada, where he was pitted against Onya once again in that border. Yog got past Anya's forces and slipped through to Bracada, where he delivered the Sword of Judgment and Helm of Heavenly Enlightenment to 2 seers named Belek and Oruk. Returning triumphantly to Krelod, Yog was heartily welcomed into Duke Boragos' horde, finally proving that he had given up magic forever. After serving in the horde for a time, Yog traveled to the contested lands, having heard rumors of necromancers harvesting peasants throughout the area for their armies. Yog found and defeated these Desians, and soon met a fellow barbarian named Krakhak in the Erathian region, who was also seeking to destroy the necromancers. Krakhak, however, was seeking out a wizard named Sandro, who cheated him out of 4 artifacts, having promised him wealth and land. Yog and Krakhak further investigated the necromantic plots in the region, soon learning that a ranger and a druid from Avli were also plowing through the necromancer armies from the north. Yog sent a message to the 2, Jelu and Jem, seeking a cooperative alliance between the Krulis and Avlian armies in destroying the undead. They agreed, and the 4 leaders met on the plains of Bragden. Jelu, Jem, and Krakhak had all been duped into collecting powerful artifacts for Sandro, who was in fact an Erothian necromancer, seeking to dominate Antagorik from his base in Deja. As Sandro was far too powerful to combat, the four heroes fled west in the wake of his forces. Yogg then decided that the heroes would need an artifact of their own, and suggested that they seek out the pieces of the Angelica Alliance once again. As Jem and Jelu reclaimed the first three parts of the sword, Yogg and Crackhack recovered the other three. With the artifacts in their possession, the four heroes marched on Sandro's territory. With the power of the Angelica Alliance at their disposal, Yogg, Jem, Jelu and Crackhack cleared the path of destruction through the undead legions of Deja, eventually making it to Sandro's citadel. They defeated Sandro in battle, but the necromancer teleported away before he could be finished off. However, the four heroes claimed his necromantic artifacts, and decided to part ways with some of the artifacts each in order to dispose of them by scattering them throughout the world. Sometime after the Restoration Wars, Yogg participated in the Festival of Life on the side of House Teles. However, House Teles was defeated by Kilgore, another aspiring barbarian, who went on to kill Duke Winston Boragos and claim the throne himself. It is unknown whether Yogg served Kilgore after this event, though it is likely that he didn't, due to his unwavering, near-decade-long loyalty to Boragos. A few years later, Yogg managed to survive the Reckoning and cross through a portal to Axoth, along with thousands of other refugees. He had since resided on the continent of Iranis. Yogg also wrote a lengthy tale of his experiences during the War of the Unholy Alliance, a tale that the Prakadian scholars made widely known, despite the fact that Yogg left Prakadia in favor of Krelord. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe on this channel and consider supporting me on Patreon. Leave a comment below to let me know what other part of Heroes 3 lore you would like to be explored next. Cheers.